How's it going, everyone? Today I'm going to be discussing Holy Paladin in Shadowlands. And I've been hearing mixed opinions about Holy Paladin in terms of how strong people will think they'll be and, exactly, where they're going to fall in the meta. And personally, I feel like Holy Paladins are getting some reasonable changes, some pretty cool changes as well. But I can definitely see why people think they're not going to be so strong. And I really think that overall they're actually getting quite a bit, and I actually feel like they're getting some pretty strong stuff. First off, I just want to say that during this video, I'm going to be talking about what Covenant I think is best. I'm going to obviously be talking about the Conduits and Soulbinds that you want to look out for. Well, excuse me, the Soulbind tree I think you should go, and then the Conduits that you may want to place in it, and which ones can be good. I'm also going to talk about, which Legendaries are looking pretty powerful. And then I also want to talk about what's new. So first thing with Holy Paladin right now that you might notice is auras are back. And this is actually pretty awesome. I think each aura has a pretty decent situation in different scenarios. Retribution aura probably not going to be used very well in PvP, but as you guys can see, when someone dies, you gain Avenging Wrath for 12 seconds. In PvE, that could definitely be good. Crusader aura increases your mount speed, but there's actually a bonus to Crusader aura that I'm going to show you in a little bit. So Crusader aura is definitely going to see play in PvP. Devotion aura, which reduces damage taken by 3%, standard to what we have now. And then there's also Concentration aura, which I personally think is going to be the best aura that you're going to use most of the time in PvP. And this one reads, interrupt and silence effects on party or raid members within 40 yards are 30% shorter. So personally, you guys may know Paladin as the healer that doesn't really have much residual healing. They have no heal over time effects, so they end up having to cast quite a bit. Well, this is great news for Paladins because your interrupts and silences are 30% reduced, not only for yourself, but for your teammates. That is huge for Holy Paladin Wizards, if that's something that you want to run. And then if you guys are familiar with the Holy Paladin, Aura Mastery increases the effectiveness of all of your auras. So if you use Aura Mastery with Concentration Aura, your entire team is immune to interrupts and silence effects. And keep in mind, you're still going to have the Divine Favor. So Paladins are going to be kind of difficult to interrupt now. You have the 25-second cooldown Divine Favor. You have the 3-minute cooldown Aura Mastery for your entire team. It's definitely going to be really solid. Some other changes that you're going to notice here just by looking at my character here is the Holy Power is back. And I think personally, from my experience, I liked Holy Power and Holy Paladin. I felt like it gave it like a little bit more depth. Although I don't really think there's too much you can do with it. You only really have 2 options, and it's Word of Glory. Well, actually 3 options. Word of Glory, which is a big single target heal, Light of Dawn, which is a reasonable AoE heal, and they also added in Shield of the Righteous, which does a little bit of damage and also increases your armor. I personally don't think we're going to see too much use for this unless maybe scaling's not right or something, but the damage doesn't seem very good personally. 432 damage, 20,000 HP. Compared to some of the other abilities, Hammer Wrath is hitting 1k, Judgment's hitting 1400. It's pretty low on the damage end, but I do think that the armor is actually pretty significant. I just don't know if 4.5 seconds is enough to justify using. So basically, you get quite a bit of armor, but would that be better than just pressing Word of Glory for 2400 health? Would it save you 2400 health in 4.5 seconds? I'm not really sure. My guess is probably not. So I don't think we're going to see too much out of Shield of the Righteous there. The Holy Power is back. You generate that by Holy Shocking. You could also generate it by using Bestow, which is pretty nice. Oh, maybe it has to go off. Yep, okay, when it goes off, you do generate it. It's kind of awkward for Holy Power generation not to get it immediately, but I don't think that's that big of a deal. You also get it by Crusader striking, so if there's anyone in melee range, you can actually get a ton of Holy Power. Training a Holy Paladin when in melee range, or excuse me, as a melee team, might actually end up just helping the Paladin more because you have 2 charges of the Crusader Strike. Every single one's going to generate 1 Holy Power. It's just going to be Holy Shock, Crusader Strike, Word of Glory. Holy Shock, Crusader Strike, it feels like they're going to be able to rotate that Word of Glory really, really easily. Hammer Wrath is back. I feel like this is one of those iconic Paladin abilities. I think personally I'm pretty happy to have this one back. It's instant cast. It does generate a Holy Power if someone's below 20% HP, so definitely something that you're going to want to sneak in for extra damage, as well as generating Holy Power. Turn Evil is also back. You would think that this probably doesn't get too much play in PvP, but versus Unholy Decays, you're going to be able to, fear that Abomination, fear their pet. Versus Warlocks, you can also fear their pet. Optimal, whoa, it's actually a fair bit of mana. Let me look here. Whatever. It's not too bad. So optimal time to use this versus Warlocks is, number one, if you're fighting against Demo Warlocks, you can fear their Wrathguard instantly, right? Nope, that's not undead, that's Demon. Oh, wait, no. Okay, you can fear Demon. I'm stupid. Sorry, you could fear their Demonic Tyrant immediately. That's actually really powerful. You could also fear Abomination. That's also really powerful. You could also fear the CS pet as, like, the CS is coming off of cooldown. So the Fel Hunter. So if Fel Hunter has, like, 3 seconds left on it, you throw a Turn Evil on it. Gives you a little bit extra time to, you know, cast in that situation. And you could also fear Succubus, stuff like that. So a very niche ability that feels like it could be pretty impactful. These are the kind of abilities that you want to see coming back in Shadowlands. They're not, you know, the craziest, but there's definitely specific scenarios where you can use them. Now let's take a look at the talent tree here. One of my favorite abilities ever on the Holy Paladin is coming back, Saved by the Light. This ability is absolutely awesome. It's one of those things where Paladins lack, like, huge major defense, and it's something that, you know, could just proc if you're in CC, and it gives you that little extra, you know, padding to kind of keep someone alive, and it's really awesome to play with, because I remember when I first played against it in the previous expansion, when someone gets low with Beacon of Light, they proc a big shield, and I remember the first time playing against it, this huge shield procced on this guy, and we're like, what the hell, swap to this guy. We get this guy low, they put on the beacon, the big shield goes up, and we're like, what the hell is the cooldown thing? Screw this, swap to this guy, and then next thing you know, the shield procs on that person too, and I was absolutely blown away. I'm like, what is this? And finally, you know, I got to look at it, and it's really awesome. So I think Saved by the Light is a really, really cool talent that I'm very happy to see come back. And then Glimmer of Light, you guys can't really see it here, but the Azurite trait Glimmer of Light has joined in as an honor talent here. I don't think this is going to see too much play unless... Wait. Okay, it's still a magic buff. Okay, so the fact that it's still a magic buff, I think, gives it a pretty reasonable amount of importance, just baseline, because Purge Protection on Freedom and Bops and stuff like that is pretty powerful. And the way Holy Avenger now, we'll talk about this for a second, the way Holy Avenger works now is, in my opinion, more fun than the way it worked in the previous expansion. Instead of just having 30% more Holy Shock healing and 30% more haste or whatever it was, 20%, whatever, you just get 3 Holy Power every time you press a Holy Shock generating ability. Holy Power generation is triple, so you Holy Shock, 3 Holy Power. You Crusader Strike, 3 Holy Power. I feel like this is a pretty fun ability to press. This may be used in very fast-paced games, but I think Divine Purpose might just be used overall. Holy Power abilities have a 15% chance to make your next Holy Power ability free. So free Word of Glories, this is in replace of, like, kind of like the double Holy Shock thing. And then also do 20% increased damage or healing. That's really good in my opinion. So I think that you're probably going to go Divine Purpose over a Holy Avenger. Paladins have always been that, you know, kind of cooldown-based class. Maybe in faster games, Holy Avenger is better. But I think overall, Divine Purpose is definitely going to have, you know, a much better flow. So those are the positive things about Holy Paladin. You guys are probably thinking, like, wow, how can anyone think Holy Paladins are bad? You know, this seems great. Well, the major change that Blizzard made moving into Shadowlands is they reversed the way Infusion of Light works. So in previous expansions, Infusion of Light made your Holy Light fast and increased the healing of your Flash of Light. So in Shadowlands, it's reversed. It's going to increase the cast time of your Flash of Light, and it's going to increase the healing of your Holy Light. So in PvP, when you're trying to go for these big Holy Lights, as you can see right here, which are actually really important because you have Light's Grace, which increases the healing by 50% and also gives damage reduction, and it's also more mana efficient. This is where Holy Paladins are really going to fall behind. So if you're in PvP and you're going for these quick Flash of Lights, which don't even seem that quick, honestly. I'm not sure if it got nerfed a little bit. Yeah. Oh, it's reduced the cost of... Oh, wow. The fast cast is actually just gone. It's actually reduced the cost of Flash of Light. Wow. So the fast cast is gone. I feel like that fast cast was one of the really important things that Paladins had to actually help them get healing. Maybe it won't end up being the end of the world because you do have that concentration aura. You do have the aura mastery to empower the concentration aura, and you still have the divine favor. But overall, I think Paladins are going to really, really struggle getting big heals out because it was kind of all based around the Holy Light and then the damage reduction from the Holy Light, getting those stacks up, being really mana efficient. So I think that's really, really where the Paladins are going to struggle right now. The other thing that's obviously awkward on Holy Paladin is the removable Ineffable Truth. You guys know that that probably made Holy Paladins really, really powerful. But on top of that, Vision of Perfection, reducing the cooldown of Wings. Wings is now a 2-minute cooldown, as opposed to the minute 30 that we've been used to for like all last expansion. And on top of that, I think that there was an Azerite trait that increased it by an additional 5 seconds. That's obviously gone. So Wings uptime is going to be so much lower. And Holy Paladin healing outside of Wings has generally been pretty bad. I'm not 100% sure if Word of Glory can fill that gap, but we'll have to see. So overall, I would say Holy Paladin's actually got some really good additions. I think if Blizzard did not do anything to Infusion of Light, I think they would be in a phenomenal spot. Unfortunately for them, they may not be in the greatest spot, but we'll see. Maybe it'll be something that they change back, or maybe it's going to be something that they will adjust. In terms of covenants, I only saw one covenant that was really good, and it actually happens to be probably my favorite covenant. I'm a huge fan of, I guess, playing like a support role. Obviously, I'm a healer. I play, shaman. They were all about buffing people, and the Night Fae ability is one of my favorite. So this reads Blessing of Summer. There's 4 seasons that you can rotate through, and helps your team out basically. So we're gonna go ahead and take a look at all these buffs here. So this one reads, bless an ally for 30 seconds, causing their attacks to have a 40% chance to deal 30% additional damage. So this is just a 100% DPS throughput increase. That sounds awesome. You want to be a part of those kills. You want to do something, boom. You buff your DPS. Attacks have a 40% chance to deal 30% additional damage as holy. That's really cool. 45-second cooldown, and then as soon as you use it, it rotates, and it's on the same rotation based on the seasons. I was just talking about Ineffable Truth. Guess what? Blizzard decided they wanted to add it back via this covenant, and it's obviously pretty cool because you could choose who you want it on. Maybe you want ice blocks to come up faster, maybe you want blind to come up faster. You kind of have this decision on who you want to use it on. So cooldowns recover 30% faster. Now we're at Blessing a Winner. Bless an ally for 30 seconds. Their attacks deal 43 frost damage and reduce the enemy move speed by 30% reduced movement speed and 20% reduced attack speed. It's a little bit defensive. Slow down some melee attack speed. It's not bad. Let's go and reset it here. So here is Blessing of Spring. Bless an ally for 30 seconds, increasing their healing done by 10%. So you can bless yourself, or you could put it on a DPS that you're healing, and it increases their healing received by 20%. So this is also a really powerful one. So you can see the way that you kind of rotate through them. It's going to be something that you kind of press on cooldown. So the first one's a damage increase. The second one is a cooldown recovery increase. The third one is a damage reduction, so it's kind of defensive, and then this one's a healing increase. So it's definitely one of those things where blessings are going to be very, very powerful for the Paladin toolkit. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to press. I think there's going to be some kind of thought behind it where, okay, I want to use this blessing on this person to recover his cooldowns. I want to use this blessing on this person because he's doing more damage, and they're not purgeable. So it's one of those things that will be a part of the game. There's not going to be any counterplay, so it's just something that Paladins have. Secondly, we have Soul Shape here. I do not think Soul Shape is that very good. I don't think Night Fae is very good for many people. I think, interestingly enough, it's okay on Paladin just because when you go into this form, I think that you can be slowed. So if you pop a Freedom in here before you decide to go into your little, wolf form, you can't be slowed. And keep in mind that if you use a single global, you're out of it. So I'm going to log onto my other Paladin real quick so I can show you guys a little bit better. But yeah, so if you drop a Freedom here and then you go into this thing, you can't be stopped. This can actually help you get a little bit of CC. I feel like Paladins aren't super mobile. You do have the horse, the Divine Steed. But I think that this will be pretty nice for getting away or potentially even pushing in to get some crowd control. That way you can try and be a little bit aggressive. And let's go ahead and take a look at the Conduits here because some of the Conduits support these abilities directly. Sorry, these are actually the Soulbinds. So the first Soulbind you see here is while you're in the Soul Shape, you regenerate 5% of your maximum health every 3 seconds. So it's obviously really, really minor, but it is something that is going to heal you while you're in this form when you're trying to get away. So it's pretty minor there. And then we have the next Soulbind here. Your healing spells and abilities have a chance to apply Naya's Invigorating Herbs, increasing the target's haste by 2% for 20 seconds. Very minor. Very minor. Unfortunately, the other Soulbinds are not very good. So this is the best you can get. And then we have the final two here. Movement speed increased by 20% for 2 minutes after defeating an enemy in combat. You know, just random PV stuff. So healing or damage is a chance to grant you a stack of anima up to 10. So if you have 10 stacks, you would have 20% increased health. Oh, excuse me, 10% increased health and 20% increased mastery. Just extra stats overall. That 20% mastery actually seems to be quite a bit. I wonder how easy it is to keep that up. On the conduit side here, there are some really, really nice conduits. Personally, I like this a lot. Blessing of Summer lasts 30% longer. Blessing of Summer is that aggressive one that increases your teammates' damage by like a 30% chance to proc 40% extra damage. So a little bit extra damage there. It's very nice. And then you have the Holy Shock critical increased by 5%. Obviously, Holy Shock is always really, really nice. I wonder... Yeah, okay, so just an additional 5% chance to crit with Holy Shock. Keep in mind that these conduits get upgraded. I think they can go up to 15 stacks, so this 5% will actually go up to 20%, which means Holy Shock will have a baseline 50% chance to crit. You know, the 30 that it has from the talent, the 20% that's going to have from the conduit. And then we have a Finesse conduit here. So I'll show you guys all the Finesse ones. Actually, I'll show you this one second. Blessing of Freedom increases the target's movement speed by 5%. We'll go up to 20. And Bop reduces the target's... Blessing of Sacrifice reduces the target's damage taken by 20% after those things end. So this is for 8 seconds after. So basically, if you freedom someone, they're going to be running faster for 8 seconds after the freedom. And if you sack someone, they're going to take less damage for 8 seconds after the sack. So it's a really, really great value on sack. And then... this is an Endurance Conduit, which we unfortunately do not have a slot for here because I think this one's better. Actually, I mean, you could go this one if you really want this Endurance Conduit. Word of Glory, it applies a shield on you for 15% of the healing done on the Paladin. I don't really personally think that's that important, so I decided to go the other way. And at the start of the video, we talked about the fact that Crusader Aura will have a play in PvP. You're probably thinking, you know, mount speed in PvP, why is it going to matter? But this is probably one of the most broken conduits I've seen. And everyone hates Warlocks, so I'm sure everyone's going to be smiling with a Paladin on their team. Crusader Aura reduces allies' fear duration by 30%. 30%. You might ask if the stacks with Relentless. I'm not 100% sure, but even if it doesn't, if you have this buff on you, your fears are reduced by 30% to a maximum of, I believe, 45% when the conduit gets upgraded. That's insane. Holy Paladin should hard counter Warlocks if this is the case. Probably pretty broken, probably deserves to get nerfed, but, you know, Warlocks had their time to shine, so we'll have a little bit of fun until then. I'm going to show you the Legendaries really quick. The first Legendary that I want to show you is Infusion of Light has 1 additional charge, and the effects are increased by 20%. Personally, I don't think this one's going to be that crazy. I feel like you're going to get Infusion of Lights pretty often. I think this would be insane if it was the fast cast procs, but I think just the healing increase and the mana reduction is not enough to justify this Legendary. The Legendary that I think people are going to be using, and it's personally one of like my favorite abilities that actually existed when it was out, it was called Sacred Shield. So these boots are actually called Shock Barrier. Whenever you use Holy Shock, you actually put up a Sacred Shield, if you guys remember the ability, that absorbs damage refreshed every 6 seconds. So it's just passive damage absorption with your Holy Shocks. It's kind of for a small amount, you know, 319, but it's free healing over the course of the game. You could have it on 3 people at a time. So your entire team in 3v3 can have this Shock Barrier. And if you do decide to play Glimmer of Light, I mean, every single Holy Shock is going to have so much value, absorbing damage there, doing healing there. So I think Sacred Shield or Shock Barrier, whatever you want to call it, was a great add. So overall, I feel like Paladins actually look like a lot of fun. And if Blizzard didn't change the way Infusion of Light works, I'm not really sure why they did that. I think that they would be in a great spot. Maybe it was for PvE, and if that were the case, if they just add on, you know, Infusion of Light reduces the cast time of your Holy Light by X amount onto that Light's Grace Honor talent, that could fix Holy Paladins immediately if they need to be fixed. But this is why I'm kind of torn on Holy Paladin, because it feels like in terms of the toolkit that they have and the abilities that they've gotten, they look like a lot of fun, but you don't want to play a healer that is just not good. So I'm a little torn. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video on Holy Paladin in Shadowlands, and I hope you guys definitely learned stuff. But yeah, I mean, Holy Paladins look like fun, and we're just going to have to cross our fingers that Blizzard decides to change and or fix or revert the Infusion of Light change. Thanks for watching.
fam, that's what they call me. I promise that you'll never be lonely. Be the fam, that's